the winds that blow across the globe and bring in fresh ideas and fresh thoughts that enrich our own roots. We will be steadfast in our roots, but we would be willing to accept the breeze that blows through the leaves and the branches to enrich us and give us fresh health. And I hope that the Supreme Court will be able to take us forward in this direction. And I say this at the cost of admitting on behalf of people in public life that we cannot always show a sense of objectivity that is needed by the critical moments in our society. And therefore it is important that ultimately the arbiter of and the best judge of what is good for our society remains with you. Without going into the arguments of the wholesome tension between Parliament, the executive and the judiciary, I do believe that we are lucky that the cornerstone of our Constitution has given to us the brightest and the most brilliant and the most rewarding child of the Constitution, and that is the Indian Supreme Court and the judges of the Indian Supreme Court. I acknowledge, pay my tribute, and I hope that today we celebrate not just the independence of India, but celebrate also the independence of all the wonderful judges of our land. Thank you very much.
Shri Salman Khurshid, Honorable Law Minister of India, Shri Ghulam Vanvati, Attorney General, Shri Praveen Parekh, President, Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Rakesh Kumar Khanna, Vice President, Mr. Vibhu Shankar Mishra, Acting Honorary Secretary, SCBA, my brother and sister judges, senior advocates, members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be the chief guest on an auspicious occasion of the Independence Day. I am proud to be an Indian, and it is only in this country where a small minority of Parsis, who are hardly 1,67,000, can aspire to attain the post of a Chief Justice of India. Such things do not happen in our neighbors, in the neighboring countries. These are some of the aspirations, some of the values which we need to appreciate. And when you look comparatively with other jurisprudence, with other jurisdictions, particularly in our neighboring countries, we realize the value of the aspirations, the constitutional ideals, the principles which are enshrined in the Constitution. Today, as the Law Minister said, time has come for the Supreme Court to give some sort of a guidance for the future. And it is my endeavor not to advise the government, but to take into account certain concerns which over the years we are required to take note of. The purpose of my today's address is to highlight the importance of judicial independence. Judicial independence consists of decisional independence and institutional independence of the judicial branch under the Constitution of India. Over the last 65 years, the Supreme Court has rendered several landmark judgments on fundamental rights, on human rights, environmental laws, Article 21 rights. However, very few landmark judgments have been delivered on the constitutional structure provided for under the Indian Constitution, which deals with distribution of legislative powers, provisions dealing with relationship between the center and the states, establishment and constitution of the Supreme Court, power of appointment of judges, impeachment proceedings, etc. Friends, I am emphasizing this point for a different reason. The reason being that I find in this country illiteracy as far as constitutional concepts and principles are concerned. We need more and more learning on the constitutional principles. This is across the board. I am not only referring to schools or studies or students in the schools. We quote concepts at random. It applies even to judges. And this sometimes results in judicial overreach. The point which I am trying to make is that when we interpret, we have to keep in mind the text of the Constitution also before us. We must also keep in mind the constitutional debates when we interpret a particular article of the Constitution. When you interpret the article of a fundamental right, we must also keep in mind that there is an institutional structure and architecture of the Constitution which provides for checks and balances. Sometimes in our anxiety to do justice, we give an interpretation which may disturb the constitutional balance between the three branches of the government. In yesterday's presidential address, the President lightly remarked that institutions are interface, and that interface